Hello, I'm Sandy Walden from Serenity, your Master Grief Coach and Master Grief Coach trainer. Pollyanna. Do you remember the story? You might not, and if you don't, I encourage you to go to the library and read the story, or go on Prime and rent the movie. But the name has become a derogatory term for many, and I think that's very, very sad. When people they say things like, oh, you're such a Pollyanna, it's as though you refuse to notice the negative or you're not acknowledging the pain. And I think it's something very, very different. I think it's understanding that there's pain, there's sadness, there's tragedy, and there's also beauty. There's kindness, there's compassion, there's true love and caring. It's an expansion. It's finding a blessing, a gift, something to be grateful for in any situation. Now, if we know one another, it's a really good chance there's been some profound loss in your life, and grief has descended. This is another area where at one time I was really kind of surprised how many people brought messages to me that seemed to be, you don't get it. Don't you understand? I lost my son a little over 10 years ago. Mike died of suicide. He was 23 years old. Of course I got it. This was my youngest boy, my baby boy. I was not going to see his face again until we go to the other side. Though I did see his eyes last week, and that's a whole different story. In a most beautiful way, by the way. So I would hear people say, I can't believe that you're not curled up in a ball crying all the time. What's the matter with you? Don't you get it? Don't you get it? Part of this is my natural wiring, that it's been almost an instinct for me most of my life to find something to feel okay about. It doesn't diminish the pain. It didn't mean knowing my son had died didn't crush me in the moment. But almost immediately we started talking about all of the laughter and all of the joy and the aggravation. Oh my gosh, the kid was the most impossible kid in the world to punish because he never got upset by any punishment I gave him. He just rolled with it. Again, another story. Wherever we are, is there something we can be grateful for? When we are in intense pain, being mindful of that pain. Yep, here comes mindfulness again. Being mindful of that pain can extend. We say, thank God I'm in a chair that's got a pillow behind my back. It makes it a little bit more gentle for me to feel this intense grief. Does that make sense? I'm not for one moment asking you to deny hurt, sadness, pain, rage, frustration, resentment. I'm asking you to be a little bit like the magical Pollyanna. Yes, I'm frustrated and disappointment that these people didn't show up for me or haven't shown up for me in the way I expected. And the reason why is because I love them so much and I know they love me. And we've always been there before. I feel gratitude for those moments, for those times they showed up. My belief is that that energy, that expansion of what we see helps to invite healing and even helps to invite what we want. So we're talking about that disappointment when someone we expected didn't show up for us. Yeah, we can talk a whole nother time about the many reasons they may not have shown up. And it's not always about us, as shocking as that is. And I don't mean any disrespect in that way. We seldom know what's happening in their world. But something I know very well is that when I can find my place, a space within me to feel gratitude for what that relationship has meant to me, I find forgiveness and I find healing. And when that happens, that pain ebbs, it softens, it goes away to a great extent, sometimes completely, often completely. Here's something else that can often happen. Sometimes that relationship mends, not always, but finding that gratitude, that silver lining, the piece of gold heals my heart. Is that a Pollyanna attitude? Gosh, I hope so. I hope so. If you read or watch the story, you'll see a little girl who lives in very tragic circumstances, an incredibly difficult life. But her father loves her so much, he teaches her to play the game of finding something to be grateful for, something that can bring the smallest bit of joy in every circumstance. When your heart is broken, are you able to come here on social media and share with somebody? Does someone reach out with an emoji or a word of kindness? That's something to be grateful for because it makes a difference. Being mindful that there's more than one emotion, event, possibility can help this shift, this expansion. As for me, I aspire to be more and more like Miss Pollyanna in every aspect of my life. Just thinking about expanding that gratitude, that awareness is a wonderful feeling. In fact, I think about it as I'm sitting here in my office this morning. I actually had to close my blind part way because the sun is so bright that it was blinding. Now, at the time of this recording, it's towards the end of March and we've had some really cold days. That sun feels incredible. I love that. Is it still cold outside? Yeah, but the sun is warming me in this moment. I can feel gratitude, and that lifts, that shifts my mood. I hope this makes sense to you. I really do encourage you to read or watch the story of Miss Pollyanna. And what if you play a game with yourself today to adopt her way of being just a little bit? I wonder what that might be like. I would love to hear from you. I'm Sandy Walden from Serenity, your Master Grief Coach and Master Grief Coach Trainer. Today, I wish you a day of finding the nuggets, the flecks of gold, the sunshine in the darkness.